Thomas, he's my number one, shining in the morning sun, working hard but having fun. Thomas, you're the leader. Thomas, you're the leader. Thomas and Buford. The Sodor engines are busy on the island of Sodor, pulling passengers and freight. But the Danville locos like to help too. Sodor engines and Danville locos often work well together. One day at Tidmouth sheds, Sir Topham Hatt had important news. A new diesel engine has arrived on Sodor. His name is Buford. You must teach him how to behave himself. The engines had never knew Buford before. Oh, I don't like the sound of this. Why not, Phineas? Buford is a bully. He's from our hometown in Danville. That's right. You never know how bad Buford is. I can teach Buford how to use manners. Well, don't say Ferb and I didn't warn you. Thomas was at Knapford station to take passengers when Buford arrived. What are you, a blue clown with red stripes? I am not a clown. Well, you are now. You should be in a circus. Thomas was cross. Phineas was right. Buford is a bully. Spencer saw this, and it gave him an idea. I know just how to help you deal with that new diesel engine. Spencer told Thomas to challenge Buford to a race. Tell Buford to meet you at 2:30 p.m. sharp at Knapford Station. You two will each pull 4 freight cars, and we'll see which of you two is better. So Thomas did. At Knapford Station, Thomas and Buford were coupled up to 4 freight cars. All the engines were gathered to see the race begin. Edward puffed forward. You will each take different tracks round the island, but there will be no stops along the way. Then, Edward whistled long and hard. The race had begun. Thomas and Buford took off. The engines whistled good luck to Thomas. He'll never beat him that easily. Thomas and Buford raced round the island. Buford drew ahead of Thomas. He knew he will win the race first. Thomas tried to keep up, but he can't go any faster. The freight cars were very heavy. Thomas tried to struggle up Action Canyon, but his wheels spun and spun. He slid all the way to the bottom. If I can't struggle on, I'll lose the race. Then an idea flew into Thomas's funnel. I'll leave half of the freight cars at Welsworth. Then when I get to Knapford, I'll hide the rest of the cars near the coal hopper. So Thomas shunted half of the freight cars onto the platform at Welsworth Station. Then he continued on his way to Knapford with the rest of the trucks. Thomas was nearly at Knapford Station. He didn't notice Buford hadn't arrived there. But Buford just took some tracks along the way and was close far behind. When Thomas got to Knapford, he shunted the rest of the trucks near the coal hopper and puffed back into the station. His plan had worked. Buford was surprised to see Thomas when he pulled in. Hey, how'd you get here so fast? I went as fast as I can along the main line, but the coupling from the truck snapped. And now they're missing, and I don't know where they could be. Oh, I knew you're a blue clown with red stripes all along. Thomas was speechless and cross. He steamed back to Tidmouth sheds, fuming. Buford is indeed a bully. Someone has got to make him say sorry to me. Then there was trouble. As Thomas was almost at Welsworth, he stopped. There was Candace. She was trying to drop off the passengers from her train, but the freight cars that Thomas left were in the way. Now Candace can't drop off her passengers. Thomas had forgotten about the freight cars. Then they heard a whistle from behind Candace. It was Duck. He was pulling Annie and Clarabel. Duck tried to get past Candace, but he couldn't. Will you move, please, Candace? I can't! Those freight cars are in the way! I can't let off my passengers! Then Buford came up pulling just a few vans. But he can't get past Duck. Duck can't get past Candace. And Candace can't let off her passengers. They were all standing statues. Sir Topham Hatt arrived on board Spencer. What is the meaning of this? It has caused confusion and delay. Thomas knew it was his fault. He had to put things right. He took a brave puff. Please, sir, if I may explain. Me and Buford were racing around the island to see which of us is better. But the freight cars were holding me back at Action Canyon. So I left half of the freight cars at Welsworth. And I hid the rest of them near the coal hopper at Knapford. I thought you said the trucks were missing. Please, sir, it's my fault. Spencer told Sir Topham Hatt what he made Thomas did to get back at Buford. Thomas, you know what I had said before. Don't puff round the island pulling heavy loads. I don't need broken engines. Spencer, Buford has to learn how to behave himself. And you shouldn't have had Thomas challenge him to a race. Spencer felt terrible. Sir Topham Hatt spoke to Buford, too. My engines behave well. I sent rude engines aside. Buford was ashamed. But you shouldn't have been as silly as Thomas. So you owe him an apology. I'm sorry I've been very rude to you, Thomas. That's all right, Buford. Now I'll put everything right. Thomas shunted the freight cars into a siding out of the way. Now Candace can drop off her passengers. And Duck can get past. So can Buford. That night, Thomas told Percy and Toby all about his race with Buford. Then Buford arrived with Spencer. Well done for putting things right, Thomas. I'm glad you learned your mistake. And I'm sorry I planned this up. Thanks for owning up to it, Spencer. It's a good thing to say sorry sometimes. Yeah, just like friendships. What do you say, even Steven? Yeah, even Steven.